Hi, Service Alternatives. It's hard for me to believe that we're headed into the fifth month of living and working in the COVID-19 pandemic. To think that we started the year never even knowing a pandemic would be upon us, and to think that we're 5 months in with it appears to be quite a ways to go. At Service Alternatives, we continue to focus on doing things new and doing things differently. And just recently, we've really been picking up projects that we had stopped for a while or services that we had had to put on hold for a while. I mentioned previously that respite services were underway and that those have resumed. We also just started teaching right response instructor certification courses again. Those had been paused for 4 months and we recently taught 2 of them. We've picked up projects. We have resumed the Advocate Advisory Council planning. We'll have our first session coming up in August. And we're beginning to pick up Good Day SA, which we will also be bringing back in the next month. It's exciting to be picking up things that we've had to hold for a bit of time. We've continued to have to figure out how to get way out of the box in terms of some thinking, and I have kind of a fun story to share today. Right Response recently learned that we will not be able to start really teaching physical skills as we want to for a while. That information came from Washington State in terms of their interpretation of social distancing. And we still have many employees that we need to teach physical skills to. We have customers who need to hear and learn about physical skills, and we have clients who need us to have the skill to be able to work with them. And so in thinking about what to do, Right Response has expanded their mannequin family. We've had Olivia for quite a while that is used to help teach escorts with small children. And we now have added 2 new mannequins. They have introduced us to Manny and to Anakin the mannequin. Both of these mannequins will be part of your training that you will be participating in soon. But most recently, Manny had his debut at a Right Response instructor certification course. And I got to see some pretty fascinating and funny video bloopers. The Training Institute is absolutely needing to learn how to use these mannequins most effectively, but there are ways for us to incorporate them into teaching so that you can all learn what you need to learn in terms of physical skills. They also seem to bring some levity to the classes, but just one example of the out-of-the-box thinking that's happening around Service Alternatives kind of on a daily basis. Many of us are continuing to learn how to clean obsessively, whatever that might mean to you. We have lots happening with gloves. We have lots happening with disinfectants. We have clients learning how to wear masks. We have all kinds of things happening. For myself personally, I was getting low on disinfectant wipes for my family, and I heard a tip from a friend that if you go to Costco first thing in the morning, you can get wipes. So I was pretty excited. I've never been so excited to find a cleaning supply, but I went first thing in the morning last week, got my wipes along with many other people who made a beeline for that section. But if you need a tip, you might try your local Costco. We have clients that are really taking pride in how they clean. And Jean is a client in Oak Harbor who has been calling Heather and sharing what she's been doing in terms of mopping her entry floor and cleaning her door handles. But clients are needing to learn skill and build competency in this. And Jean actually said something that was incredibly wise, and what she spoke to is, or what Heather has witnessed in her maybe, is that she's recognizing that cleaning is one way she can bring control to her environment, whereas COVID-19 as a virus is something that none of us can control. So I encourage each of you to learn from Jean in terms of recognizing what things you can do in your own environments, both at home and at work, to bring a sense of control in a rather uncontrolled situation. We have clients that are continuing to do art, and it's pretty special to see what's happening. Alpine Youth created some amazing, a mural really, out of sidewalk chalk on a fence that surrounds the basketball court. And as Leslie said, they really made the basketball court a beautiful place. So that's kind of fun, quite fancy of them to think in terms of decorating it in that way, but the mural is really well done. And then most of all, we continue to focus on client outcomes, and the Vancouver program has a pretty special story to share. Most kids that are placed outside of their biological families in foster care or in group care take a good solid 3 years if they have the chance to reintegrate with their families. And there's a youth at the Vancouver program is supported in terms of skill building and reunification, and this youth is moving back to their family in just over a year. And so that was something they celebrated recently together, and just represents the amazing work that the Vancouver program continues to do with kids in their own families and integrated in foster care and beyond. I hope each of you is figuring out what your new rhythm might be in this era. It's staying with us for a long time. I encourage you to think about what you need to be doing. Do you need to be taking more action yourself in terms of out of the box thinking at work or at home? Do you need to be doing more in terms of finding ways that you can control your situation? Do you need to find things that you can do in terms of creating something? There are many of you doing new activities, whether it's knitting or painting or whatever it may be. Or alternatively, you might be somebody that needs to rest a bit more and to focus on simplicity. Whatever you're doing, I encourage you each to pay attention to what you need, what your work calls for, what your family calls for, what your energy calls for. And we continue to move forward a step at a time. And I just appreciate what every one of you is doing to make a difference in a positive way during this COVID era. Have a great weekend, Service Alternatives. Bye-bye.